Hello everyone, IMS welcomes you all to the webinar series, the B-School Insider, all you need to know about your dream school, and I'm your host Kalyani for this series. So today we will be focusing on IIM Calcutta, prep journey, campus life, academics and placements. We will be talking about some of the key points such as CAT prep tips and selection criteria, journey of the panelists to IIM Calcutta, IIM A versus IIM B versus IIM C, find out about SIMS, MIM, placements, why is IIM Calcutta known for finance, what is Joka Life, and more. So let's welcome our speakers today. We have Amisha Gupta. She's from the batch 2025. We have Anant Adiga. He's from batch 2024. We have Shomarup Mukhopadhyay from batch 2024. We have Manan Ved. He's from batch 2020, and he's a consultant at BCG. Welcome all of you, and thank you so much for being here today for this session. So let's start from the beginning. So we'll talk about the CAT score, interview selection process, tips to ace the CAT in this section. So let's start from the current batch. We'll be talking about the CAT score. What was your undergraduation background? Were you having work experience, or were you a fresher when you were taking and applying for MBA and taking CAT? So we will start from Amisha, then we'll go to Anand, then we'll go to Shomarup, then Manan. Yeah, Amisha.
Hi everyone. So my CAT percentile was 99.24. I gave CAT just this year, November 2022. So about my academic background, I'm an engineer from NSIT Delhi, majoring in instrumentation and control engineering. Other than that, I have a work experience of closely 1 year because I graduated in 2022 and joining college in 23. I've worked at two places. I've worked with American Express. I have worked with Reliance, and both the experiences were very different, very dynamic in their nature. So overall, I bring a kind of experience which is a mix of both analytical world as well as management world. So that kind of experience has helped me develop as what field do I want to pursue ahead post my MBA. Sorry, what was the next question?
No, that's fine. Next is Anand. Anand.
Hi everybody, this is Anand. I graduated from DSU with major in computer science in 2020. Later, I joined Lowe's USA as a software developer, worked there for 22 months, and in CAT I had around 97.7%. So at Lowe's is where I got the idea to do an MBA because Lowe's has its own private equity firm. They have their own consultants. So when I spoke to my colleagues, they told me about this MBA program, and then that's where my interest grew.
Okay, but were you having a work experience when
Yeah, 22 months as a software developer.
Work experience, a software development. So again, an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So two engineers already. Yeah. Shomaru.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Shomarup Mukhopadhyay. I am originally from Calcutta as well. I majored in computer science and engineering, batch of 2019, NIT Warangal. Post that, I spent 3 years working with Visa as a software developer. Having explored this technology domain, I thought that it was time for me to pivot, which is why I actually looked forward towards doing an MBA. I wrote my CAT. I got a 99.73 percentile on my CAT in 2021. And then I joined IIM Calcutta and I did my summers this past May and June with PCG.
Okay. Yeah, Manan.
Hi everyone, nice to see you. Good morning. I am quite oldie as compared to these three. I gave my CAT in November 2017. I did my MBA from 18 to 20. I got a 99.84. My background is I am a CA, commerce graduate, BCom plus CA. I worked with Deloitte for 3 years in statutory audit, post which I thought if I have to become a CFO, I need an MBA. Hence, I did my MBA. But obviously, that after coming to MBA, my plans changed. I wanted to go into investment banking or consulting, and now I am in consulting for the past 3 years. I am working in BCG as a consultant. Looking forward to interact with you, everyone.
Yeah, all right, great. Yeah, so we have one from commerce and three from engineering background. So yeah, obviously, there will be a little bit of. So I'll obviously ask more questions about how to prep for non-engineering students and what are the tips for that. And so yeah, so let's talk about tips now. So first, of course, your own CAT journey. You all can talk about your CAT journey briefly, because obviously CAT is right around the corner. And also, if you all can talk a little bit about your schedule from now, as in almost. Let's talk about August is almost August end, and from now till the day, how would you like our CAT aspirants to prepare or schedule their preparation? So, okay, we can, Anand, you can answer this first, and then Shaumaru, then Amisha, then Manan, from a non-engineering point of view, what all are the things that, because we also, so our audience are CAT 23, as well as the people who are taking CAT in 24. So we should, your answer should, kind of, talk about those people as well who have just started preparing for CAT. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Anand.
Yeah, if I were to begin my CAT prep, say today, first thing that I will do is take a mock, see where I stand, and see what are my strengths and weaknesses. Let's say my weaknesses are VASC, then I'll focus more on VASC. So I'll divide my day. Let's say VARC is my weakest section, then I'll commit maybe 3 days in a week of VARC, 2 days for the other, 4 days for the other two subjects. Yeah.
Okay.
I also try to take mock maybe once in 2 weeks, say, and see if I'm improving enough, and find out the subjects and topic is basically topics where I lack, and practice more on that. I had a work ex, so my CAT journey would be maybe start my day with my work, and towards the end of a day focus on CAT. So give 2-3 hours for CAT, and slowly start with that.
But did you leave your job towards the end, like as CAT was getting closer, the date?
No, I haven't. I think I took like a week off before my CAT journey. That's all. That was enough for me. So yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Yeah. Shamaru, then Amisha, I'll come to you.
Just to add to what Anand just mentioned, I think it's important to actually figure out where you stand. But at the same time, I think it's also important to segment your day, regardless of whether you have work ex or not. So I used to work like say 7 to 8 hours a day, and then I used to segment my day in terms of which sections I would pick up. So it's not like I would do one complete section on one day, because I didn't want to lose touch with the other sections as well. So if I say I did VARC for 3 hours on Monday, and then DILR for 2 hours, and let's say quant for 1 hour or 2 hours, I would do DILR for 3 hours on Tuesday, and so on and so forth, in a round robin fashion, so that I spend equal time on all these sections, because it's important that you clear cutoffs in all 3 sections. Having said that, I think right now, since you are almost on the cusp of September, it is also important that you start taking regular mocks. So at this point, I actually began taking my mocks. So I was actually doing like around 2 mocks a week. But it was also important to not overdo those mocks, because it's important to, after you give a mock, sit and maybe spend one entire day analyzing on it and going back to the sections where you actually made mistakes on. So this feedback loop is basically going to improve you on your weak points. And I think as in like the CAT came closer in October and November, I did increase my frequency of mocks, but it was never without sitting and analyzing a mock thoroughly, because otherwise it kind of goes to waste.
Okay. Well, which one was your weak section?
So primarily, I think my Achilles heel was more of like DILR, even though I'm like an engineer.
Yeah, so can you give a tip here? Yeah.
Yes. So in terms of DILR, primarily what I try to do is basically ace it from a mock perspective, because the thought that I put into it was basically, regardless of the number of problems I keep solving individually or independently, it was important that I solve it correctly and I solve it within the time constraint. So basically, when I was taking a mock, my aim was to essentially first look at all the 6 sets and decide which were the first 2 sets that were easy, the next 2 which were medium, and the next 2 which were hard. And then I would actually go and target the easy sets, try to complete them and in a quick fashion so that I could actually target one or two more moderate sets. Having said that, it was also important for me to basically go and see that in even the sets which I felt were hard, were there any questions that could be easily solved by using the options? Because a lot of times it is not a subjective paper. CAT is essentially a lot about aptitude. So if you can take a look at the options and read the set and figure out that, and inevitably, and even in my CAT, during my final CAT, I solved an entire set of 6 questions just by using the options. And what was happening is most of the questions were essentially belonging to the same thread. So once I solved one particular question using the options, the entire set got solved, and hence I could answer the other 5 questions. So it's important to keep on developing these strategies, and these strategies will only come in once you've given enough mocks, focused on your weak section, and tried to analyze them thoroughly.
Okay. Yeah, Amisha.
Yeah. So basically, my strategy at this point would be that I would want to first of all finish my syllabus till end of August or mid of September maximum. Going through the syllabus, how to do it, my strategy would be giving 1 hour uninterrupted attention to VARC section first of all. Maybe in the morning if you're comfortable, or in the night, whatever time is the most comfortable for a person. And sitting on it with a pen, taking any newspaper which comes to your house, picking the editorial page, going through line by line, marking the important points. Basically, that will help you develop an IQ where you can pick the most important sections in the paragraph. So that would be strategy number A. Then another thing I try to do is give 1 hour to DILR and QA alternate days. Because since I was working alongside, so I could not manage more than that time. I think that should be enough to cover the entire syllabus by mid of September. Post that, I would rigorously focus on mocks, giving 2 to 3 mocks every week. And just the way Somaroop said, analyzing is taking a day to actually understand what all mistakes I made. Because that is what will help you improve. The questions you already know, you would know even after 2 months. And that was my strategy. The biggest thing that worked for me was once the admit card is out, taking the time slot, understanding that slot, and sitting at that particular time of the day to give your mock. Because what happens, the brain will work and, it will accommodate those 3 hours specifically for the exam. And that will help you improve your productivity the most. So in addition to Somaroop, I think that's what I did.
Okay. Is it advisable to quit a job having a work experience of 25 months in finance domain for CAT prep? Manan, can you answer?
Sure. I mean, so see, if you leave the job right now, your CAT will be in November, and then your interviews will be in what, Jan, Feb, and all, and you start next June. So, matlab, interviews ke time, you would have to have a good reason on why you have left the job. So I'll tell you my example. I was doing articleship, that is an internship for CA. I completed till October. Matlab, on paper, I was there till October, but I was not working since August. So I had a gap from October to, suppose, say, June. And in interviews, they asked me what did I do. I told them I did my CA, I needed a break, so I took a break. So I was able to convince them that I was not studying for CAT. So that helped me. One of my friends, he left the job in June. He couldn't convince the panelist. He got in. It's not like he didn't get in, but you have to have a good story around you. And see, there's always a risk if you leave a job and if you do not get anything, you need to be very sure that you'll get something later. 2 of my friends left the job. They couldn't get into the colleges they wanted. They got 98, 99, but they wanted to get into specific colleges. Then they got a job in Feb automatically. So you need to be very sure of that. You can leave your job, but have a good story around it, because you are going to get grilled in the interviews, like the IIM interviews a lot. And post that also, I mean, that's a very long thing. But when you get into college, then when your summer comes, people will see a gap as CV and all of that. So try to fill the gap after you give interviews. So you can do a Jan to June, some internship or some other job, I would suggest.
Correct.
But yeah, you can leave. You should be confident. Yeah.
Yeah, Anand, there's a question for you. All of the panelists are having some work experience. So will it be difficult for a fresher to get into IIM Calcutta? Can you answer this?
I don't think so. Like IIM Calcutta, I think has around 50%. Right now, the current batch has 50% who are freshers. So I think IIM Calcutta doesn't differentiate. If you're good enough to defend anything that they answer in an interview, I think you're good enough to come to IIM Calcutta.
I have a gap of around 1.5 years. How much impact will that have? How can I answer this?
Right. So I think as Anant and Manan already mentioned, it's important that you actually have a story or a relatable experience planned, which does not show that you were only preparing for CAT. So, and that actually definitely comes at a later stage after you're done with the CAT, you have a good percentile, you have secured your call. But at the same time, it's also, let's say you have a genuine reason why you were not able to, work somewhere and you had to do CAT prep and switch. And a lot of friends of mine have actually done it. They had family businesses that they were working for. They were actually not really looking at, a company work for that matter, but they were able to justify it in front of the panel. And it's important that you actually appeal not only in terms of, let's say, using facts as to why you were not able to do it, but also maybe connect with them at a human level and try to show in terms of your personality that whatever you lack for in terms of your work ex, you make it up in terms of your other talents, in terms of you being able to project a holistic personality. I think that's what panels actually look for. They are not there to reject you per se. They most likely want to accept you, but you have to just give them reasons to do it. So just have a good story and appeal to them on a human level, and I think you should be good.
Yeah, so let's talk about the personal interview and the selection criteria. Now that we have already talked a little bit about it, that obviously freshers also, I mean, it's fine if you're a fresher or you have work experience and all that, but let's talk about then beyond that, like what are the kind of interviews, questions are there, what are the profiles that IMC tends to select? Is there anything like that, or is it just the CAT score that really kind of can get you on board? What is it like? So let's talk about the personal interview, and also if you can remember, Manan, if you can remember your personal interview questions, and the rest, of course, you guys, I'm sure you guys can talk about your personal interview experience and the kind of questions, and also the tips on how to prepare and all that. Yeah, Amisha, you can start, then Shamarup, then Anand.
So for personal interview, what my understanding has been that the most important thing is to whatever you are writing down about yourself, being thorough with it. And when I say thorough, not just understanding and learning about it, but going in the depth in that manner that anything and everything related to that field, that domain, or anything which can even be 1% similar to it, you should be thoroughly aware with it, because the entire interview will revolve around that. Whenever you have the power to drive the interview towards something that you have done or you have achieved. If in case you are a fresher, then the interview would be more focused towards your acad. What subjects were you at, or what kind of courses you like, and questions relating to them. Because generally a panel is mix of all the kind of domains. So they generally have a good idea about different fields. So if for a fresher, it would be acad focus. For a work ex person, it would generally be driven towards the work ex side, but depending on the number of years spent, it could be a mix of both. Could be acad plus work ex. The strategy here is to take as many as mock interviews as possible, re-evaluating them and working on them, because the feedback that you get is actually what an interviewer is feeling about you. And yeah, the most important is just being that confident that something, if you are saying, is actually about you. So that kind of confidence that I know about it. That is most important.
Okay. Yeah, Shamaru, what kind of questions were asked, and was there more questions about your work, from your work experience, or was there anything from your undergraduation, or were they going through your profile? What kind of questions were asked?
Yeah, so I typically felt that they were going through my profile, but since I had around 3 years of work ex, they were not really asking me academic questions, but it was more of work ex, personality focused, current affairs. So when we were interviewing in early 2022, the Russia-Ukraine war was a big thing. So current affair focused, all of the how much do I know about the institute, all of this really mattered. But I think what was actually helpful and worked for me was in the general introduction. So generally panelists ask you to introduce yourself initially. So I used to not only talk about my acads, not only talk about my work ex, but I would also give them pointers with respect to what all initiatives have I taken in throughout college while at work. What are the PORs that I've had? What are my interests in terms of hobbies? So these used to be, catchphrases that I would hope the interviewers would latch onto and ask me questions in areas that I could use to differentiate my profile from other candidates.
Correct.
So I remember my IIM Calcutta interview specifically because it was a completely stress interview and I had to smile through the entire 20 minutes of it. But it was completely based out of my hobbies. So I had to talk about quizzing, I had to talk about travel, I had to talk about current affairs. But it's just that even if it's a stress interview, and if you are actually speaking about something that you might be, moderately aware about, you should be able to sail through it because the panel sees that you're able to make, a diligent effort in answering their questions and you're not really throwing things, here and there. So that I think really helped giving them pointers as to what is really important to differentiate your profile from someone else's. But to answer your question short, yes, it was more of work focus for me.
Okay.
But then it did revolve around the other areas that I mentioned.
Can you talk about your experience and also anything specific to IIM Calcutta that one should keep in mind when sitting for the interview?
Yeah. So by the time interview started, I had around 1.5 years of work. So I was in a sweet spot where academic as well as work, both of them were relevant. So I had to prepare for both. So I've divided the whole interview process in the following. The first one is about academics, where I went back to my undergrad and saw what are the relevant questions, thoroughly went through all of it. And then coming to work, I looked at what are the current projects and the past projects that I was working in. Third one is about current affairs. Actually, one of the questions that was asked during my interview was about crypto. We had a 5 minutes talk on what do I think about crypto, and they also checked if you have an opinion on something. So they're asking me if countries should adopt crypto. That was one of the questions that was asked. So you should also have an opinion when you read something. And the fourth one is particularly to IIM Calcutta. It's about quants. So they usually ask you a few questions related to integration, stats, or something like that. So this is the way I follow my whole interview went. A couple of things that I would do before my interview is that, like Shomaruk mentioned, go through the website. Some of the colleges, like IIM Calcutta, they specifically ask you more about the college itself. So even I went through the website, and like Shomaruk mentioned, I spoke about the clubs that I wanted to get in. So that helped me a bit.
So yeah, my interview was closely 20 minutes, which actually was a little different. So there were two people before me, and both of them had an interview for 40 minutes. So that was a little bit of contrast for me. The one thing I feel that is different in Calcutta interviews is that they focus on mathematical based questions. So I think most of I came across were asked one or two math based questions, be it a graphical question or be it a normal equation to solve. Not very tough mathematical, but basic quant, yes. So that is a differentiating factor here. And other than that, since my profile was a little marketing skewed, so they asked me one guesstimate, which was, just to plan how you would want to invest or would this investment be a profitable one if you want to start a new business in that kind of domain.
So let's talk about academics now. So in obviously, the first question I would like to ask is about what is, what's the student exchange program? So we will first ask the student exchange program, and also I wanted to understand the SEMS MIM offering that IIM Calcutta has, and is that part of the student exchange, or these are two completely different things? Yeah, Shomaru, can you talk about this?
Yeah, so basically the SEMS MIM is it's an alliance of 34 B schools in 34 countries. So there's like one B school from each country around the world that's part of it. From India, it's only IIM Calcutta that is the part of this particular alliance. So the way to do it is basically this is a master's in international management degree, which is a third degree which is separate from the MBA degree that happens while at IIM Calcutta. And this has its own requirements in terms of academic credits, seminars, projects, internships, etc. And it's a 3-term course. So term 1 is in sync with term 5 at IIM Calcutta, which is when you go on exchange to your exchange school. Term 2 is back in IIM Calcutta, which is actually term 6, which is your second year last term. And once you graduate from IIM Calcutta, you have to do a separate international internship And then eventually you have a separate graduation ceremony for SEMS. So last year it
Okay.
was by the pyramids in Cairo. This year it's in London, so on and so forth. The SEMS program is completely different from the student exchange program and also has a completely different selection criteria.
Okay.
There are 25 seats which are offered from IIM Calcutta with the SEMS program. And these 25 students are PGP students or the MBA students itself that get selected for this program.
Okay.
The student exchange program essentially only has a criteria of GPA, wherein you just go to your exchange school in one term, come back, finish your degree here, and you get a degree from IIM Calcutta. That's it. But in terms of SEMS, the selection is more rigorous. You need to, let's say, have a little bit of international workings if you can. Your academics is not really a big point. Like GPA is not 100%, but it's kind of like 5 to 10% of weightage. But it's more in terms of how you project yourself in terms of an international holistic personality. So they look at you in terms of your SOP. They have a separate interview process for it, taken by faculty here. And also we have a very SEMS club, which is actually a requirement of the SEMS program. Because in term 5, when the cohort actually goes out on their exchange to the exchange schools, there are also SEMS students who are coming in. And the entire USP of this entire thing is not only in terms of a separate degree, but also that it's kind of like a network for life, because there's a very active SEMS alumni program, there's a very active SEMS mentoring program. And also it gives you a flavor because of Indian B schools. We're essentially going through a very orchestrated and organized placement process, right? But in case of the foreign B schools, you don't actually do it. You actually have to reach out to recruiters on your own and do so. So landing a SEMS internship gives you that entire flavor. So there's a SEMS career forum. I think this year it's happening in Barcelona, 10th to 11th November. So all the SEMS students which essentially fly down there, and actually not only network, but also get access to a vast repository of recruiters, sit down with them, figure out what is a good fit for you, and basically do it the European way of, getting a job. So I think that is the complete entire different aspect of SEMS versus the normal student exchange. And IIM Calcutta is the only one that provides it.
Yeah, but tell me something, Shamrup. So you are SEMS MIM. You were one of the selected ones, is it?
Yes. So I'm doing an MBA here. I graduate 2024, and I graduate from SEMS in 2024 December.
Okay, but then can you sit for the placements for IIM Calcutta? Like the ones
I
like
can.
Anant and
Yes, so it's like the placement process is entirely the same. The entire degree of MBA is entirely the same. It's just an added opportunity for 25 students who are able to project a very holistic profile to go out there, make a network, and get a third degree. So, and this is the entire USP of this entire thing. And also
you can parallelly, so if you're sitting for the placements here, but you can also parallelly approach, companies for placements, because that international bit kind of gives you that freedom, is it?
So just to clarify that, so once we are opted into the placement process here at IIM Calcutta, we do the placement process from this, the lens of securing a full-time job in the Indian market, so on and so forth. Or if there are international offers that come through the recruiters in the company. In terms of the SEMS program, approaching recruiters in Europe or when you are on exchange is only in terms of you trying to land an international internship and trying to complete your SEMS degree requirements, which is completely different from your IIM Calcutta MBA degree requirements. Now, once you have also done, so this is an added exposure because you anyway doing a summer's internship here through the placement process at IIM Calcutta and also getting a job from IIM Calcutta. But the added benefit here is that if you are able to actually go and talk to these recruiters on your own outside, and I mean your recruiters for that matter, because it's completely international. And you do an internship post your graduation, which is a SEMS internship, and you actually like it and want to pick up a job there. So again, that's a completely different process that you need to actually go and figure out on your own. The institute does what it does for the entire batch. There is no differentiation, but SEMS is just an added opportunity for everyone to leverage.
Yeah. Amisha and Anand, can you guys talk about why finance is why IIM Calcutta is known for finance, Is there a particular reason? Is it the faculty? Is it the clubs and committees? Also, which are the clubs and committees you guys are member of? So Amisha and Anand. Yeah, Anand, you can answer. Yeah, and Amisha, please tell us which club and committee you are part of. Yeah, Anand.
There are a couple of reasons why IIM Calcutta is known for finance. The first one is, historically speaking, we had very well-known finance professors in India. So that's
Okay.
the first reason. And the second one, it's also been having the largest fin club in India. I mean, Joka
Okay.
Advantage Club.
Okay.
Joka Advantage Fund, which raises funds from students. It's the largest in India.
Okay.
So these two factors helped to have that finance background, because at the end of the day, students, senior students are the ones who help you with the summer placement process, and they are the ones who take finance related sessions. So that's the
Correct.
reason why it's known as finance club.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And which are the clubs and committees you're a member of?
Last time I was part of finance club, Broadman club, and apart from that, Joka, I think Joka games or something like that. So these were.
Okay. Yeah, Amisha.
So I'm a part of GMLC and ECEL Club by now. So ECEL is more entrepreneurship focused, how you can, develop that skill set, go into that field. And GMLC is more towards career management. So these are the clubs that I've been a part of till now. And let's see.
Yeah, but is it compulsory to be part of some clubs or committees, or is it okay if you're not part of any? Does it affect you?
I think it's a personal choice. If you want to be a part of the society, surplus is very good. If you don't even want to be, it's perfectly fine. Because your placements and everything, I think that is a very small factor. Whereas how you are as a person, how well are you with your grades, the gaps, everything comes in a holistic view. So it's up to a person's choice.
Okay. And yeah, Shamaru, you're part of any clubs or committees?
Yeah, so I'm actually part of a couple of clubs. So I'm part of the Consult Club. I was part of the Product Management Club, and I'm part of the Sense Club as well. But these are the academic clubs. You also have a lot of non-academic clubs. So I was an active part of the Debating Society, the Toastmasters, and there's also a Joka Skate Club. And there's like a host of other clubs, like the Culinary Club. There's a Joka on Board, which plays board games. There's obviously a photography club for that matter. And as Amisha and Anand mentioned, it's a very good community feeling if you're part of all these clubs, and gives you the complete holistic MBA experience, because, grades, placements are definitely one aspect of it. But, being a part of the clubs, taking part in extracurriculars, events on campus, kind of helps you make more friends, network better, and also gives you the entire experience that an MBA is worth it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about what is Joka Life, by the way. Amisha, can you please explain whatever little? I know you in your first year, but yeah, how much of it has? I mean, how much of that you have soaked in still in the campus? Yeah.
But I believe Shamaru and Anand would be better.
Yeah. There will be, of course, they'll be answering, but yeah, I mean, how much of it have you seen? I mean,
I think the best feeling is that being a residential campus, it gives you a kind of sense of feeling that you miss a family here. That is not like it doesn't take months. It happens in a week, 2 weeks, and you find that connect with people. So I think that plays major role in part of Joka life. Other than, of course, the campus is so pretty. Just to roam around and just take an evening walk and walk by the lake. It's a very surreal feeling. So for me, that's been Joka life till now. And
yeah, because somebody is asking actually, can you please tell the culture of Calcutta? IIM Calcutta. Basically, for everybody knows that in IIM Ahmedabad, you right from the first day you are only in focusing on your academics and all that. That's something that people usually think of when they think about IIM Ahmedabad. But what about IIM Calcutta? Yeah, what is the kind of culture? Yeah, Shamaru, Anand also, please pitch in.
Yeah, so I think the academics are equally stressful here. You have to be good because it's super competitive. The cohort here, everyone is so talented, and you get to learn a lot from everyone. But having said that, it's also about the Joka spirit comes in the fact that we leave no one behind. And this is completely manifested when, your summer placements or final placements are going on. So the placement week is typically over like 8-9 days. And
Okay.
whosoever people get placed very quickly, some people take some time to get placed. But there is absolutely no celebration, complete support from the people who have gotten placed in doing mock interviews, doing cases. It's only when the last person in the entire batch gets placed is the entire batch comes together to celebrate. There are parties that only happen, people only post on social media after everyone is placed.
Everyone
So
is
I think it's the
placed. Yeah.
community feeling which Amisha was talking about. That is what the major Joka spirit is about.
Yeah.
Academics is definitely a very big part of it. Club culture, a lot of parties which happen late into the early into the mornings. But it's about bonding together and making friends for life, which is actually the Joka spirit about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anand, can you talk about the internship a bit, as in the process and all? Of course, Manan will talk about his placement experience because he's the only one, with the, who's out of the B school now. Yeah. So, Anand, can you talk about the internship process and how is it? When is it? I mean, you just completed it, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I think it begins right from day one. You will, I
Okay.
think in the first week itself, you have introductory sessions where, the prep team and the CDPO talks about the whole internship process. And the first leg of the internship process is to make a CV. And then you start your whole prep sessions. So you will have your summer internships during in the month of October. So for the first 2 to 3 months, you will be first understanding which sectors that you want to prepare for. So usually people here prep for at least 2 or 3 sectors. It would be concerned finance, a combination of both, something like that. So you go through the whole journey of making your CV ready, then prep, then preparing your personals, and then the DD.
Okay.
So, and yeah, once you get your internship, you'll start your internship in the month of April and May. You do 8 week internship, full time internship, and then you come back here and do your second year. Then you sit for the final.
Okay. Okay. Can you please talk about the placement process very briefly and your
Yeah, sure,
experience?
sure, sure.
Yeah.
So, sorry, as Anand said, there is two placements: summer internship and final placement. Summer internship happens in your first year, October, November, sort of, and helps you get 2 months of internship. After that, there are two options: you get a PPO or you do not get a PPO, and there's another third option: you get a PPI, but that is okay. Once you get a PPO, you are more or less sorted on the next year of your, where are you going if you want to go. If you do not want to go, there's another option that you prepare and go for your final placements. Talking about your final placements, what happens in IIM Calcutta final placement, they see four things: what you have done in the 2 years of your IIM Calcutta, right? Your academics, your clubs, committees, have you gone to exchange? What have you done across those 2 years? Second, they'll see what kind of summer internship you have done. Okay, what have you got, a PPO, not a PPO, PPA, etc. Third, if you have gone to exchange, not exchange. Fourth, if any extracurriculars, and fifth, overall, how have you done in your life? Major focus will be on academics and what you have done in the 2 years of your IIM Calcutta in the final placements. IIM Calcutta, now in the past 3-4 years, consulting and finance are like equal in terms of the sectors that the people go for. Before 2014-15, finance was major. Now around consulting and finance are 27-28% roughly.
Okay.
So half of the batch goes into consulting and finance, and
Right.
across, but I'm not only big companies in each sector, across like every company. After that,
Okay.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if there's some product management or some analytics, which is the
What about
so
marketing though?
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
marketing, I think, at least in my years, it was not great. It was like fourth sector.
Okay.
Only HUL, PNG,
Mm.
RB, all of these, like 7-8 companies used to come. Half
Okay.
of the batch used to get placed before that. So there
Okay.
are few people who only want to go into marketing. They have a good chance. I mean, half of the batch is placed, your competition is lower. So I had my
Yes.
friend, she had all consulting shortlist. She didn't sit for any of them. She went directly to HUL. Now 3 years into whatever, after my MBA, she's still in HUL and she's enjoying it. Similarly,
Okay.
ITC and all. So I think A has a lot of marketing cohort. C doesn't have that much. But if you want to get into marketing and if you're clear from day go and your mind does not waver in the 6 months and the 2 years that you are here,
Yeah.
you can still get into, marketing, and similar companies come. So one good thing across A, B, C, L, now Indore and Kozhikode also, similar companies come across. Depends on your peer group. I mean, whether you get shortlisted or not. There are few companies who will only go to A, few companies will only go to B, few companies will only go to C. But they only select like 2-3 people. I mean, if you are amongst those 2-3 people, then there's a decision. If you're not among those 2-3 people, you won't get anywhere selected whether you go to A, B, C, L, like it.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
it's very difficult. One thing that I wanted to point out, that this Joka spirit that people keep on talking about, as Shomar was talking,
Yeah.
it's not only during the summer placement and final placement. I mean, the support is tremendous. I had friends in A, B, and C. C support had like the most, everyone is bonding together, etc. And it continues after your college also. Matlab, I can attest to the fact that after 3 years of graduating, people
Yeah.
still reminisce and keep on helping each other even after you have graduated. So yeah,
Okay.
so that's a good
Okay.
incentive too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So was BCG? Was this PPO?
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. So I had gotten a
Okay.
PPO.
Okay.
I was in summers 2 months. But I can talk about. So see, in summers, it's easier to get into good companies because they take in bulk, as in 15-20 people each, and
Okay.
you get a PPO. In finals, the numbers are usually curtailed, so single digits to around 10 to 12 people will get into each company across consulting and also in finance. So finance, only 1-2 people will get in because half of the batch is already placed, and hence the competition gets increased.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So we do have some campus photos.
These are not typical lake pictures, but we're trying to,
Yeah.
show you a
Yeah.
different
Yes.
aspect of the
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
campus.
Good. 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 Nice. Nice. Yeah.
Is my
Because
screen
we.
visible?
Oh, this is yes. Yeah. We can see that. Yeah. Yeah.
So
This
Very
is
nice.
the
this is
quad.
from one of the parties. So we generally have a quad in every hostel, and that's where the
Okay.
parties are actually held.
Oh,
So
very
yeah,
nice.
this is the most famous place to do parties. So this is
Where
where
is
most
this?
of the
This is
parties
within the
happen.
campus?
Yeah, this is within the
Oh,
campus, inside one of
Yeah,
the
this is
hostels.
WHX,
the
yeah.
annex hostel.
oh,
Yes,
very
Annex,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
yes.
quad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Manan, are
And
you feeling any nostalgic thing?
Yeah,
Any
yeah. But I have
nostalgia?
been to campus in the last 3 years, 2-3 times due to placements. So
Okay,
I
okay.
have nostalgic, but
Uh,
not that much. So yeah.
okay. Oh, there is a cat. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
very
this
interesting
is the
photo.
bridge. Yeah, this is the bridge to the LVH hostel.
Yeah. And
So
is
on the
this a
either side,
sign for the cat prep people to look at the actual cat and
So,
Bell
so
the cat.
another interesting thing is there's like a
yes.
whole community of dogs and cats on campus, and we
Okay,
have a
okay.
club for it called Pet Pals, who actually take care of these dogs and cats who are domesticated and fed on campus
Oh,
itself.
very
And a lot
nice.
of
Yeah.
professors also donate towards their cause.
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Shomarup and I were from the same section. So this is him.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
me from last year, section F.
Right. Hmm.
So this was, I think, last week of our year.
Okay.
And the fourth one is section wars. So
Hmm.
we were the, I think, runner up. So this was one of the pictures taken during that time. And the last
Yeah, and
one,
I
I
think
think I can't. Yeah, sorry.
one part of the Joka culture is also hugely about sports. So,
Yeah.
IIM Calcutta this year in January hosted
Hmm.
Sangharsh, which is the annual inter IIM competition amongst IIM
Yeah.
KBCL.
Who
So,
won it,
there's a
by the
huge
way?
sports.
Who was it? I'm Bangalore. Who
Yes,
won it?
Bangalore came first and we came
Yes,
second.
because I saw one photo from I'm Bangalore session again about Sankash.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they'll be
yeah.
hosting it next year. So, and this is again Section Wars, which is a
Okay.
very big bonding event for the students of the first year when they come in to
Okay.
bond with your section and actually win from there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the last picture, I think I can't end the session without this
Yeah.
beautiful lakes of Calcutta.
Hey, so the dorms, are they old dorms, new dorms? What is the what are, and are the dorms like the are there plenty of space for dorms for both for men for boys and girls? How's the dorms like? Yeah, Shaumaru,
Yeah.
Amisha is
So there are
the
4 hostels.
Ah,
2 hostels are the men hostels, which are like a little bit old.
hmm.
There are 2 other hostels which are co-ed hostels. So one of them, the Lakeview Hostel, which you saw the bridge, so you actually need to cross
Yeah.
the bridge to get to the Lakeview Hostel.
Nice.
And it has like a very good views of the lakes in front of it. There are rooms,
Okay.
and those rooms are that's the newest hostel with like French windows and huge rooms for that
Uh-huh.
matter. And there's another hostel called the Ramanujan Hostel, which is
Okay.
also a co-ed hostel. So that's also one among the older hostels, and we have a couple of new hostels coming up right now.
So Amisha, do you have French windows, or are you in the Ramanujam?
I'm in the LGH hostel, the new hostel that Somirup was mentioning. So yeah, we do have.
So you cross the bridge and you go. Wow, lucky. Yeah, lovely.
I mean, yeah, it is a little far from the main campus building, but the best part is when you are on the bridge every day, just to stand there for 2 minutes, the breeze, look at the lake. That's like a really relaxing moment. So yeah, it's
all right. Yeah, thanks Anand for those photos. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, so it's time to wrap up. And before I wrap up, thank you to all the attendees for their questions. In case you want to reach out to any of them, you can always reach out to them on LinkedIn. They're all there. And of course, I would like to thank all the panelists. Thank you, Amisha. Thank you, Shomarup. Thank you, Anand. And thank you, Manan. Thank you so much for all the insights on IIM Calcutta. And also, of course, life after B school. Thank you so much.